just deployed. Get out there, get involved, help support our military families, help support those who are veterans. Elizabeth Dole Foundation, Gary Sinise Foundation, Hope for the Warriors is in our backyard. We also have the USO. Get involved and serve.
Wow.
What are we? And that's just with 2 cups of coffee. How does that sound?
I'm still on my first.
Oh, okay. So you need another cup?
I will here at the break to try and keep up. I mean, I'm glad I managed to. I think I put most of my issues to bed, as it were, this morning with the broken. Well, it wasn't broken; it was misaligned. So I think we're good now. Yeah, it's. There are things I should just not have an opinion on, and it's better that I just remain, because that's been so. Let me back up. Once upon a time, the big talker existed without me. And they discovered they needed somebody like me to keep the wheels, to keep the train on the track.
Mm-hmm.
And when they interviewed me, none of the questions had anything to do with my experience, my history, my education, my knowledge, none of that. Everything was, can you work in this political environment? Can you work with hardcore conservative people? And I'm like, yeah, just don't ask me to sing with the choir.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's difficult that what opinions I do have are going to be a little more childishly utopian. Does that make sense? Because they're not going to let me in the marbled halls of wherever it was you were. They would arrest me, and that's not even, if I did it in February, March, April, I could do it in January, any month. And they will arrest me walking through there just because I don't look like I belong there unless I had like a big tourist badge or something, right?
Or you look like a rock star, kind of like Bono, or,
Or Elvis when he walked on up into the White House with a gun strapped on him. That was pretty badass. But no, not me. That's not going to be me at any given time. Because the concept to me of politics is the root Latin word for politic is what? People, right? That's where the word politic comes from. Politic is people, as in a base of people. So if you go to a rock concert or any concert, the group of people in the audience could be considered a body politic, and that their interest is in what music is being played. And that's going to be the same with any given grouping, right? You have a body politic that's going to be conservative in nature or not conservative in nature. I want to avoid the name calling, like those radical lefts or these crazy. No. We need to stop that, because every one of these people are honest to God human beings that are doing what they think is best. Whether you disagree with that or not, it does not diminish the fact that they deserve the respect that you expect for yourself, correct?
Well, we all deserve respect.
So I get a lot of those arguments and a lot of the rhetoric where there's a lot of yelling and name calling, but we're not getting to the actual discussion, because it's more about the adjectives of defining and describing the person on the other side of the discussion, rather than actually looking at what the policy is that needs to be discussed, debated, modified, etc. But that's me. That's why I don't get along well with most of the guests on this program, because I want to jump in and say, wait a minute, that's not really fair to use this type of rhetoric if you're going to attack a person, attack their policy. Don't go after the person, because while the person may or may not be a good human being, which is done by, to me, example, right, by activity. If you try to carry a gun on an airplane 3 times, that's not a mistake. That's you being a jackhole. And the same, right? So in that case, the personal attack is on their behavior, not on them as a person being a crazy whatever. Because none of that helps. What helps is, hey, we have obviously voted somebody in here who does not respect their position in this deal. Like you're saying in the hallowed halls, if you're walking through those halls, you don't want to see somebody stealing a podium. You don't want to see somebody, smearing crap on the walls. Because that's the type of disrespect that they are showing for their own institution, for their own government, for their own representatives, right? So,
but I also say to that, the person holding the position in the White House has a huge disrespect especially with the pullout in Afghanistan. 13 members.
Right, but getting away from that, you're starting to get into the policy. The discussion when you asked me was, I'm still sticking with, if we're going to discuss the policy, fine, discuss the policy. But if we're going to insult the person, then I'm going to have trouble with it. I can insult people all day long. I have been a master at it for over 50 years. The problem is I've discovered that it doesn't help. But that's me. That's why I don't want to be the morning show. I just want to be the tech. And I can't wait for your guests to get here so a real adult conversation can happen while I'm over here just soldering wires together.
Are they here yet? It's 8:31.
I am waiting. We should take a break for the news and weather, and we'll contact them and get them on the show here in just a moment. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after these important messages and, of course, the news break, because we can't go anywhere without our news and weather break. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, I'm Donna Gregory with WWAY News. The city of Wilmington is looking to donate the former Fire Station 6 on Carolina Beach Road to the Good Shepherd Center for permanent supportive housing. The 32-unit apartment-type complex would house the chronically homeless with disabilities while providing services like transportation and access to other resources. Those living there would be required to pay 30% of their rent. The city's planning commission will discuss rezoning the property at its August 3rd meeting. Vice President Kamala Harris spent part of yesterday in Charlotte announcing a broadband affordable connectivity program. Harris says that program provides working families with up to $30 a month off their internet bill or $75 a month for those living on tribal lands. It also gives families a one-time discount of up to $100 to purchase a laptop, desktop computer, or tablet. In Brunswick County, Navassa Town Council has approved nearly $250,000 for a municipal building, $8,000 for police department renovations, and $1,000 for a storage unit to house sensitive documents. Council members discussed a proposal for the Mose Heritage Center land donation, including a budget for engineering, design, permitting, and construction, which would total a little more than $241,000. And the Cucaloris Film Festival has raised almost $16,000 through a Kickstarter campaign, but needs $33,000 to meet its budget. Managing Director Rachel Taylor says Cucaloris has grown a lot over the years and is a vital part of Wilmington's art scene. If you'd like to donate to the festival, you'll find a link with this story on our website. And for more on all of these stories, visit WWAYTV3.com. I'm Donna Gregory. Have a great day.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. Get ready for another hot and humid day in the Cape Fear as high temperatures approach the lower 90s. Inland of the coast, heat index values once again could climb into the upper 90s. But as we head into the second half of the day, that's going to be the best chance to see scattered showers and thunderstorms firing up. So we will be a bit unsettled at times this evening. So do keep that in mind. But as we head into the overnight hours tonight, we're still remaining warm and muggy as our temperatures drop down to the middle and the upper 70s. Get your full forecast from WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you are a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Folks, we all know ongoing road construction and traffic can weigh heavy on your vehicle. Since 2006, O'Leary's Automotive Repair has provided comprehensive repair services at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. Their ASE certified technicians will help you find a cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. O'Leary's has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
Joining Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
Jeez.
Welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge right here in a world gone mad. Please visit the website at bigtalker.live. Download the app for Android and iOS devices. You can peruse the schedule of content, as well as send us an email with any comments, questions, concerns, compliments, or critiques. And as promised, our transition into the new morning host continues with our host, Miss Eden Gordon-Hill. How are you doing this morning? Welcome back and take over.
Hey, good morning. Hey, everyone. Good morning. I'm Eden Gordon-Hill, and welcome to this rainy Friday here in Eastern North Carolina. And we have two amazing hosts from Defenders Live radio show here with us this morning. Dylan, Steven, are you guys there?
Oh, we're here. We're here. How are you doing, darling?
Oh, I'm good. Good morning. It was nice to be with you guys last night at 9:00 with a cup of coffee in hand.
You're welcome.
I mean, that's what we do.
That is kind of our gig. And by the way, you're setting a lot of people up for disappointment by saying how great and wonderful we are.
Yeah.
So you're clear.
Normally, we try to set the bar very low here.
Low expectations means lower chance of disappointment.
And then I can actually make something of it.
Well, for everybody out there, I met these two hysterical humans at CPAC earlier this year in February. And I had the honor to be on their show when I was a candidate for State House. And we had an absolute blast. And then after I lost my election in the primary, they said, we would love to have you be on our show on Thursday nights. And I've been doing special features for them and everything. And we've been doing some bantering back and forth and just having a blast. But what I wanted the morning audience to hear about was, how did you guys get to Defenders Live? And we're also talking about veterans. And I know we have a Navy guy right here with us, so we wanted to thank you for your service. But tell us about Defenders Live, first and foremost. How did this come to be? And how do you guys know each other? What is your history?
Hold on. First. Great intro. Wonderfully done. But
your check's in the mail.
You skipped a few things. I'm just saying. You skipped a few things. One, in our first introduction to you, you lied to us.
You lied to us.
You lied to us.
I did not lie. I just,
I beg to differ.
We have the business card.
We have the video. We have it on audio, ma'am.
Oh, man.
Sorry. And first off, to clarify to the wonderful listeners this morning, the truth of how we met Miss Eden Gordon-Hill is the fact that our dear common friend, Jenny,
yes,
PR lady, when we were
from
at
the
CPAC,
block,
had come and said, hey, there's a lady who is in your state who happens to be here. She's running for State House, blah, blah. You want to interview her? We're like, absolutely, bring her on. So she sits down and we get handed a card that says Eden Gordon. And that's it.
Right. So
we're like seconds away from going live. We're getting everything started. The craziness of CPAC is going on. And she sits down and I don't know how we had addressed her just before we hit the button.
Right. And she said, no.
She said, no, it's not Eden Gordon. It's Eden Gordon-Hill. I said, this business card right here says Eden Gordon.
And we know that you're a politician.
So you're lying already out the gate.
Thank you.
I believe that was the lie that cost her the election. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, George.
I'm kidding.
No, but it did endear her to us, which is amazing.
Yes.
So Defenders, we've been 5 years.
5 years.
5 years doing late night.
Yeah. The end of somewhere in November, we'll hit our 1,000th show.
Yeah.
It's been big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Celebration.
Of some kind.
We're got to figure that out.
We might just get drunk on air. Who knows?
That might happen too. Well, I mean, enough Jameson and it will happen.
Right. We started this, like I said, about 5 years ago. I've always wanted to do radio
well, we didn't start this.
No, I started this.
Yeah.
A dear friend of ours, Jonathan Dunn, he had him and I had become friends, and he helped get me started. I had a different co-host with me for all of
6 months,
not even
5 months, 3,
2.
Something.
It really didn't go well. And I'm like, I can't do this. And Steven and I had known each other for 10, 15 years now or something like that.
Mhm.
And so we were always of the like mind. And so we were like, hey, let's do this. And it's ran ever since.
Yeah, it was a 1 night a week, then 2 nights a week.
Mhm.
Then it became every night.
Now it's 2 hours every night.
Now it's 2 hours every night.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your flavor? What's your flavors of interest? What do you guys really like to get down and talk about? I mean, Steven, you mentioned a couple things last night, but what are you guys liking to talk about? What type of an audience are you drawing in?
So a lot of what we do is more about common sense, right? So we want to, as show hosts, we want to actually have places where we can have conversations and actually talk to people on every side. It doesn't matter which side you're on. If you can actually find common ground with people, there are ways to mitigate having these arguments and the stupidity. You can have conversations, you can have arguments, you can even fight. It can even be verbal. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, we're all here. We're all American.
Yeah. We have to make this work.
We have to make it work. And being as that is, the only way that we can do that is to have conversations. We can't be yelling and screaming at each other at the entire time. So we focus on the culture. We focus on politics sometimes, mainly because we like to laugh at politicians because they're stupid.
It's so easy to. The jokes almost write themselves.
Generally speaking, yes. They really do.
They really do.
They really do. I mean, AOC, never mind. Anyway, so we focus on culture a lot.
Yeah.
We focus on politicians and what they do and why they do it. And then just any of the news of the day. The biggest thing that we do is we hate having to repeat things.
Yeah. The downside, our show, it runs live. We're live 9 to 10 or 9 to 11, Monday through Friday. Usually by that time, everybody and their mother has beaten whatever certain story to absolute death.
Yeah.
And then brought it back to life somehow and beat it to death again.
Right.
And so it's really hard for us to come back and end up regurgitating the same thing. And so we try to pick stuff that people aren't talking about. And if we have to go down the route of what everyone's talking about, then we try to find a way that, something that has been missed, something that's different, something that no one is talking about said thing.
And usually that's his reaction to it.
And that's usually when my melt and it's a bad day for everyone.
And then he has a tumor and
I do have my tumor. My tumor's been
tumor in his brain, and it
my brain tumor has been acting up a lot lately.
Oh my God.
It doesn't. Oh my God, me.
It makes his eye twitch.
Moment.
It's funny.
But then I don't help situations then because you know me and I like to stir that political pot every Thursday night. So
Not you?
No, come on.
Not you.
No.
Salt of the earth over here.
Right.
Yeah. So tell what? Do you guys have your shirts on? Do you have your shirts on?
No.
Yes.
He has his.
I do.
The wiener shirt?
Oh no, I don't.
Okay.
I was going to, but I realized that I'm going to be outside somewhat today, and it's a very comfortable shirt, but it's kind of big on me, and so I hate when the neck stretches out and gets all sweaty, so I don't.
It says Biden is the worst, and it's got a sausage on it.
I was going to wear it today, but I didn't.
Oh my gosh, Freaky Friday. Oh. Seriously. Dylan, are you able to share a little bit about your service since we've been talking heavily this morning about our veterans, our military? We talked a little bit about Fort Bragg, just talking about the low recruitment numbers, but then also just remembering everybody deployed right now. Can you share a little bit about your thoughts on the veteran space? And then also, what are your initial thoughts on such low recruitment for our military?
Well, yeah, no, I was, God, it's been 20 something years since I've been in. I feel I'm that old guy that sits there now and be like, I remember when I was in.
Remembers.
I remember when I was in. No, I went in 2019. I joined the Navy right out of high school. 17 years old, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and got sent all over the world. Saw things that no human should have to see. Fun stuff. But I've been out. Like I said, I've been out for 20 years or so, and it's a very different. Just the military as a whole is so different than even when I was in. They've gotten soft. I'm sorry, but they've gotten soft. They've
sunshine lollipops.
Yeah, when I was in, they had just passed the thing where they couldn't hit you. But they could still like curse at you and yell at you and wake you and do all the everybody like normal. If you've seen, like Full Metal Jacket or something like that, it was that minus the physical violence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was real, and it helped to make you who you were.
Pillow sack.
Yeah. That was different. That's what we did to each other. And that did happen. I'm talking about the instructors.
Oh.
The instructors, all that was legit minus physical contact. I mean, they would be in your face, nasty coffee breath, saying stuff about your mom and everything.
Also spittle all over.
Right.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like I've you couldn't, the only time we could communicate with somebody, and the outside of basic was letter time, and that was only on Sundays. We could write a letter, and now kids are like, these guys are walking around with cell phones, and I'm like, how do we have any order in any of this? But anyway, I sound like the old man complaining, kids.
Actually, all I thought was Blue's Clues. We just got a letter.
We used to sing that actually when our yeoman would come in and he'd be like, y'all just got some letters. Y'all got so. But I saw the numbers was it yesterday? No, day before. We were at lunch actually.
There you.
And I saw the news talking about that, and it doesn't shock me. It doesn't shock me that there is no. A lot of these younger kids they don't have anything they're standing for. Oh, they have a boatload of stuff they're standing against, but there's nothing that they have to stand for. And so they have no understanding. Like they're like, I'm not going to go fight for a country that I don't like doing this about.
Then you should just not worry about getting in the military ever.
Right. Which they don't, which is why the numbers are down. That and the fact that so many of them are required now to take the jab, and people are like, I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
And
I was going to ask you about that. Yep. Yeah. Do you think that is the underlining heaviest reason right now, or do you think it's a combo? Do you think it's a combo of people out of Afghanistan?
I think it is a combination of the two, and it would depend on ultimately the demographic, I think, of where the person's coming from, culturally and growing up or whatever, as to what their reason is. But if our country wasn't in such a shambles, a weird disarray where people can't, literally tell you what color the sky is and agree to it, then it's going to be both of them. I think it sadly is both. But I think that the jab numbers or the requirement for the jab made it kind of an extra little dig for sure.
I mean, you saw the headlines probably a couple days ago where the National Guard was going to get a pay cut because they were going to get the jab. So what is that? What kind of a message is that sending to the next generation? And what kind of a message is that sending to our active duty and those who are wanting to serve, and yet they're not getting support from their country to serve the country that they love? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, okay. So, random thought here.
Sure.
Okay. When you went into the military, you got peanut butter shot.
Yep.
And a couple other shots.
I got a lot of shots that day. Yeah.
Those peanut butter shots and those couple other shots. Did you want that?
Well, no. No, that peanut butter shot hurt, man.
Yeah. Did you want it though? Like, was that something that you signed up and said, you know what, I'm okay with it?
Well, yes, because okay. So here's the thing.
Well, let me get to the
your point.
line
Okay,
first,
go ahead.
before you get there.
Okay.
So one of the problems that we have, and I get it, none of us want this in our system. We don't want it in our system. But at the same point in time,
you signed up for it.
You signed up for it. Our government uses the military for experimentation basis. You are property of the government until you're not. And it's one of those things where, sadly, the military is considered property of the government. You kind of lose your rights as a citizen until you get out.
Oh, yeah. You lose your bodily autonomy at that point, because I remember we went to Guam. And as we were pulling into port, one of the things that we would do, a day or so before pulling into where we were going, is the CEO of the boat would come on and he would do this little speech and, hey, guys, this is where we're going. Here's the cool things you can do, blah, blah. And then it would go down this list of don'ts. Here's what not to do. And one of the things that they reminded you was, hey, we're going to be in Guam. You guys, if you have to wear sunscreen. If you're going to the beach, you have to wear sunscreen. There were people who were getting
third-degree sunburn.
So they were getting third-degree sunburn because they didn't wear sunscreen and were getting in trouble. They were actually getting. It was they weren't getting court-martialed, but it was non-judicial punishment.
Yeah,
because they did not follow a lawful order of simply putting on sunscreen because they burned themselves. You know what I mean? You kind of lose that control. So you're right on that part of it.
That's the other part, though. You just said it.
Yeah.
You keyword lawful order.
Yeah, it was a lawful order.
So that's where a lot of us draw the line with the jab.
Yeah.
Is it a lawful order to force everybody to use an experimental drug?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, when Craig, my husband, was serving, he said the anthrax vaccination, they were all told they must have. So he followed that lawful order, what you just said. But there were a lot that cried out and said, no, we will not take this anthrax vaccination. And it shook, and they raised the flag on it. And it finally came around that they would not have to take it anymore after that. So even though he followed the order, which he does sincerely, even to this day, with his VA and his going to the VA. He's always following that. And even when the pandemic first started, and he said, I need to go get the I need to go get the jab. And I said, no, you're not going to get that jab. And you are not under a lawful order anymore that you have to get the jab. I said, we need to understand what is happening with this jab, because people are falling like flies left and right. And but going back to that aspect, just the aspect of service. During the campaign, I had the honor and privilege to meet some of our active duty Marines. And they had if you will, the religion card where they were exempt from having to get it. But things were shifting again, and they were requesting a meeting with their congressman. And I remember talking with them, and they were very concerned because they don't want to stop serving. They don't want to give up all the years that they've put into the Marine Corps and to serving the nation. But it's really coming down to that. We see our president who has it and who's had how many different shots and how many different boosters and still has it. So it's not protecting us from getting it. And yet they continue to tell the American citizen and the United States military they must get it. What are your thoughts on the future of the jab and the future of our military with this issue? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's going to affect the 2022 elections? Do you think it's going to affect the process and the road to 2024? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think. I don't think it's going to make a difference necessarily for 2022. I don't, and only because of the fact that a lot of Americans have kind of.
Gone.
Most of the country has moved on to one aspect of whether they've gotten the vaccine, whether they haven't, whether it doesn't matter. They're kind of like, I'm here. We've moved on. Let's go. People are living their lives and the way they want to, which is the way it should be in America. If people I've seen people constantly still wearing masks all over the place and doing, and it's like, fine. God bless you. I'm not going to pick on you. If that's how you feel and that's what's best for you, then good on you.
I am going to pick on you for one reason. If you wear a mask and you don't wear it properly, I'm going to pick on you because you're just doing it for show now.
I agree with that. I'm there with you on that one. But if you fervently believe that is what is best for you, then I've even when all this was thick and going on, I'd never had a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that it is best for you and your family to get this jab. And if you feel it is your best to do all that, then I don't know your family. I don't know your situation. I don't know your fears. I don't live your life. You do you, boo-boo. I will do, but let me do me. Let me choose my path for what's best for me that I see, and don't come down on me. That's the only thing that I think people were after. And I feel we finally, to a degree, maybe completely, I don't know. We've hit that point now where everybody's kind of, I'm here and I'm doing this, I'm here doing this, and we've just started coexisted on. I don't think that COVID's going to play that much of a key in any of the elections. Well, unless
not this one,
unless there suddenly pops up this giant variant that they caused to.
Oh, you mean like the new variant?
No, that's not even going to be it. They're going to come up with another variant. I worry, that could be suddenly manifested out of nowhere, that will suddenly require everyone to stay at home and do mail-in ballots.
The question is, does that happen before or after Fauci gets his golden parachute?
Oh, he's already gotten the golden parachute, Chief.
I mean,
sadly, no one's actually using it to push him out of a plane. But anyway,
yeah, that'd be great.
That's not right.
Well, you poke holes in it when that happens.
We have about 5 minutes to the break. And so tell us the audience where we can find you weeknights from 9 to 11, your social sites, and some of the topics that you have coming down the pipe for tonight and next week.
All right. So the website is doaeshow.com. It's doaeshow.com. There you can you can watch our stuff on stream. You can listen to it there. You can go through all of all our social media links on that one. You can also become a defender with us.
You can join the team, help us keep lights on and things like that for either $5 a month or $50 a year.
There's merchandise there as well.
Yeah, we throw you free stuff. There's a lot of perks out of that. Also, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. Twitter's at DOAE Show.
And that's usually how we talk back and forth during the live show.
Right. We do read live tweets during the show. We engage with whoever's listening and watching that way.
We use hashtag #ArmYourselves.
Yep.
For all communication purposes on the Twitter.
Yep. And that's pretty much about it. I mean, we got socials everywhere, but we have all the socials. We're two guys who work a day job as well, so it's kind of hard to maintain a boatload of socials and do the show and pay bills and be dads. And
we're not tween age Twitter users. That's not what we do. So it's kind of difficult for us to keep up with all the socials. But during the show and all the rest of it, we definitely keep up through there. Plus, everybody can converse with us.
We're also on Rumble.
Yes, we are on the Rumbles.
You can watch us on Rumble again live. Everything is done live.
And then you can find our
Rumbles at Defenders Live.
Yeah. And you can find all of our audio and everything on SoundCloud, Spreaker, iTunes, Google Play, Defenders Live,
Spotify.
Yeah, at DOA Show. Either one. Yep. Will find us.
Yeah.
Hey, will you guys come back and do Friday shows with us? I think this would be a lot of fun. I love bantering with you back and forth. And I'm so glad to have you guys. So Defenders Live, Dylan and Steve. Thank you.
We might. Maybe. Wait a minute. Hold on. You were saying something. Dylan is what?
Dylan Liles.
No, I heard her say Dylan is something.
Mm-mm.
Oh, she didn't.
No, I said Defenders Live, Dylan and Steven. Thank you. We got a wrap.
She was trying to wrap it up, man.
Okay, sorry. Jeez. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after all these messages and let more of the insanity at the Asylum continue, so don't go nowhere. You're tuned in to the Big Talker Network, Wilmington, North Carolina's premier internet station for news and talk radio programming. Find us online at bigtalker.live.
Folks, you must visit Angie's Fresh Produce. 4447 Long Beach Road, Southport. Beautiful fresh produce at a great price. Angie's has just about every vegetable you want. In-store shopping and pickup, and all wheelchair accessible. Call Angie's Fresh Produce at 910-477-9068.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hello, I'm Donna Gregory with WWAY News. The city of Wilmington is looking to donate the former Fire Station 6 on Carolina Beach Road to the Good Shepherd Center for permanent supportive housing. The 32-unit apartment-type complex would house the chronically homeless with disabilities while providing services like transportation and access to other resources. Those living there would be required to pay 30% of their rent. The city's planning commission will discuss rezoning the property at its August 3rd meeting. Vice President Kamala Harris spent part of yesterday in Charlotte announcing a broadband affordable connectivity program. Harris says that program provides working families with up to $30 a month off their internet bill or $75 a month for those living on tribal lands. It also gives families a one-time discount of up to $100 to purchase a laptop, desktop computer, or tablet. In Brunswick County, Navassa Town Council has approved nearly $250,000 for a municipal building, $8,000 for police department renovations, and $1,000 for a storage unit to house sensitive documents. Council members discussed a proposal for the Mose Heritage Center land donation, including a budget for engineering, design, permitting, and construction, which would total a little more than $241,000. And the Cucaloris Film Festival has raised almost $16,000 through a Kickstarter campaign, but needs $33,000 to meet its budget. Managing Director Rachel Taylor says Cucaloris has grown a lot over the years and is a vital part of Wilmington's art scene. If you'd like to donate to the festival, you'll find a link with this story on our website. And for more on all of these stories, visit WWAYTV3.com. I'm Donna Gregory. Have a great day.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. Get ready for another hot and humid day in the Cape Fear as high temperatures approach the lower 90s. Inland of the coast, heat index values once again could climb into the upper 90s. But as we head into the second half of the day, that's going to be the best chance to see scattered showers and thunderstorms firing up. So we will be a bit unsettled at times this evening. So do keep that in mind. But as we head into the overnight hours tonight, we're still remaining warm and muggy as our temperatures drop down to the middle and the upper 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Teachers and parents, the North Carolina Symphony is here to support you as you carry on the education of your children and students. Take your kids on a free virtual field trip to the Symphony with a virtual education concert and companion student book. Go on a virtual journey to learn what makes music music with music by William Grant Still, Beethoven, Brahms, and more. Access the free video and student book with password 1932 at ncsymphony.org/virtual.
Folks, the sad truth of it is most of what we're seeing in the news cycle is just noise, and it's recycled noise at that. Nothing informative, nothing that actually helps us discern the times that we live in. That's why we started doing Heard Tell. Every morning right here on Big Talker Network, 7 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m., we talk and discuss the issues of the day, culture and politics with knowledgeable guests, no yelling, no caterwauling, just grown folk talk about the issues that matter. Join me, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning for Heard Tell.
I am State Farm Agent Rob Renz, and I want to help you get to a better place. Visit us online at ilminsurance.com. That's ilminsurance.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
French press coffee is really good, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker Network. Please visit the website at bigtalker.live. You can peruse our schedule of content, download the app for Android and iOS devices, and you may send us an email with any comments, questions, concerns, compliments, or critiques you may have. And Ms. Gordon Hill is about to take over the show and do what she does best. She has a couple of guests coming up. Run with it, baby.
All right. Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our 9 o'clock hour. We have some local guests with us this morning. We have Sonia Strauss and also Dana Braswell, and they are with Encounter 61 and SWISH, which is based over in Emerald Isle, North Carolina. Ladies, welcome. Thank you for being here on this rainy Friday morning with us.
Good morning. Thank you for the invite.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Well, first and foremost, tell us about Encounter 61, and then tell us what SWISH stands for.
Encounter 61 is a church on Emerald Isle, 8201 Emerald Drive. We usually tell everybody we're right beside a sweet spot because everybody knows where the ice cream shop is. And it's a church that the Lord laid on the heart of my husband and I about 7 years ago. And we moved to this area, and it's a church plant, and we've been up and going now for about 5 years. And our tagline says, one encounter changes everything. And that is absolutely what we believe, that one encounter with Jesus Christ will change your life. Everybody wants to know where the 61 came from. It's Isaiah 61. The first 4 verses are what we kind of based the church on. So anybody that's interested enough can look that up. But we are doing great. And SWISH, I'm going to let Dana talk a little bit about that. This is our women's group. And why we're here today is to talk a little bit about our first real outreach endeavor.
Yes, so SWISH, it was birthed about 2 years ago under, the leadership of Pastor Joe and Pastor Sonia. And our heart for this thing was Sister Warriors in Search of Him, which is the tagline of SWISH. And we started with about 8 ladies, and God has just blessed it. And I think now we're kind of have about 70 contacts. God has really just blessed the ministry. So we went to a couple conferences. We went to one this past year with another church. And in doing that, we knew that as we were growing, that's something we could provide. We were in a place now that we had the stability and the growth and the resources that we wanted to do that for our community. So that's when it came to be. So we're going to have it on August the 27th at the Islander. They're going to host it there. And it's a one-day event. We have some amazing speakers coming in from a couple different states. And what we love is the ladies that God has kind of put together for us are in totally different seasons of life, which I think applies to all of us. But we're also going to have a teens track for our girls. So that would be for the ages of 12 to 17. As a mom of a teen, I'm super excited about that because I feel like that's an age gap that, number one, we really need to reach and that is often overlooked. So we're very, very excited. So excited.
Talk a little bit more about that teen track, because yesterday we were talking with a couple different guests and we were talking about the next generation. We were talking about parental involvement. We were talking about the school systems. We were talking about mentorship. And so talk to us about how you came to that teen track for this conference in August.
Yeah, go ahead.
It really, Eden, as we developed the idea and we're just really praying about direction, it was very evident to us that, now the society tells us what our home should look like. The influencers are out there telling us what we should wear, what music we should listen to. And there's so many things in our teens' lives right now that are telling them who they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to look like, what they're supposed to act like. And, we want to reach a more mature audience. But man, if we can get them early on and get them grounded in who Jesus Christ says they are and not the world, wow, that is being so proactive instead of reactive to everything that's going on around us. So we added that track and we're excited about it because we think that, because we've attended lots of conferences before, and this is something that makes this conference unique, is that a mom and a daughter, it doesn't even have to be a daughter, someone that maybe you mentor, someone in your community, you can bring a team that you know would benefit from this. And we're really excited about that, because we do think that makes this sort of unique.
Yes, absolutely. Something that I love about the girl that's coming in, it's actually Miss Sonia's niece, but she's very vibrant, very lively, very successful, and she's in her 20s, and she's taken the godly aspect, right, and walked it out, and she's lived it out. So she has true experience in that, and God has blessed her life. He's given her a beautiful marriage, and she's just thriving. And I think that is an awesome thing to plant in these girls. But our actual theme is God confidence. Come get some, right? Because I feel like right now more than ever, and I know you can relate with what you were saying, you had spoken about yesterday, is identity crisis. That's really evident right now. And that's what the Lord has really put our focus on for this conference, is whose we are and who we are, you know, because you don't know who you are until you know how you're created, and all the aspects of God and all the parts of him that we really want to present to these ladies of, hey, you're valued, you're loved. Doesn't matter what you look like, how you dress, where you come from, your background. Like, these are the principles of God, and this is what he says you are. So we just have a stirring. We're so excited, in case you can't tell, and we're just ready. We're really ready for it.
No, I'm so excited. Talk to us a couple about your speakers. I see you're featuring Debbie Rucker, who is one of the owners of Rucker Johns in Emerald Isle as well. I see you have Melissa Sauls and also Julia Beth Greg. Can you talk to us about a couple of the speakers?
Sure. And there again, I think Dana hit on it a little earlier, but we wanted to cover the spectrum of age groups in our speakers so that it would be relevant to everyone who was attending. So I think we've done a pretty good job of that. And we're starting the morning with Debbie Rucker. She's going to open up with our devotion. We've got praise and worship to start the day and end the day. But Debbie's going to kind of kick the day off with a devotion for us. Melissa Sauls is actually a pastor's wife out of the San Lee area, huge mega church up there. And man, she is doing the thing. She is doing the thing. She is in it every day. She is feeding her people and her ladies and her girls at her church. And we're really excited about what she's going to bring to us. And Julia Beth Craig, Dana had said, she's actually my niece, but I love and respect her so much. I've seen this child born, and she has absolutely walked out knowing who she was in Christ from an early age. When things came against her at college and high school and different things in her life, she never looked away. She was never influenced by anything else. And she's walked that path out, and God has just done amazing things in her life. And so we think with all of these people that we've kind of covered the gamut of ages, so it's going to be relevant for everybody. Our keynote speaker, which is Lindsay Corbett, I'm going to let Dana talk a little bit about her because she knows her personally.
Yeah. Lindsay is awesome. She just wrote the book Gospel Glitter. It's been featured on TBN. She's actually the first cousin of Jensen Franklin, who's a very well-known pastor. She went to high school with me. I've watched her life. She walks it out. So she leads a women's ministry at their church, Midpoint, which is in Middlesex, North Carolina. Her story is beautiful. She has seen great loss. She is currently dealing, raising kids, the season of raising little ones, and she has one with special needs. And so she has a lot of godly, costly wisdom, I call it, and way beyond her years. And she has a lot that she's going to bring to the table. And it's beautiful. And Sonia and I just meeting with women, preparing for the conference, there's a lot of ladies that are coming with children right now, with special needs. And her story is beautiful. It gives a lot of hope because, we serve a miracle healing Father. And I think she's just going to bring a lot of things to really complete this conference out. It's just, like she said, it's a beautiful, well-rounded event, women from all walks. And I think it's just going to be done beautifully.
Tell me about Gospel Glitter. I'm really intrigued. I didn't know she had a book out, and perhaps bring her back to the show before the August 27th conference for SWISH.
Yep. So Lindsay has gone around and spoken at a lot of different churches, a lot of different things, but her story is basically finding hope. She lost her mother very unexpectedly 2 years ago, and then went through a lot of miscarriages, which I'm just telling part of her story, which she shares. And then her son was diagnosed with autism pretty early on. So she's had a lot of challenges, but I love her story with her whole theme of gospel glitter of, just taking the gospel and applying it to your everyday life and finding the beautiful in it. So I'm really, you will enjoy having her. She has truly been a blessing too.
Yeah, I would love to get her on the show for her to kind of break it down. My producer was just messaging me and saying how much he loves hearing women's voices on our show. And so I'm so glad to have you two here this morning. Let's also talk a little bit about going forward. The audience, it sounds like you have a great turnout coming on August 27th for SWISH for the for the Encounter 61 SWISH Conference, God Confidence. What are you still looking for with regards to help? Are you looking for donations? Are you looking for people to come in and volunteer? What are you looking for that the community that we are, the audience that we are covering, including Eastern North Carolina and also the Wilmington area, what are you looking for that we could potentially help you with?
I can tell you, Eden, the outpouring already from the community has been absolutely awesome. Another thing I should say that I think makes this conference a little different from maybe your traditional women's conference. We intentionally added so many things in the day. There is a part of just reflection, relaxation, because we are right on the beach. We wanted people to take advantage of the little shops and the beach itself that's right there, convenient. We're going to have some little swag bags, and we've got lots of drawings during the day. So it's really different, yes, I think, in a lot of aspects. And the outpouring has been tremendous from the community with donations of things for us to do some great giveaways and just some prizes and things to just add some fun to the day. Because, all women we like little prizes. Yes, we love that. So the thing that I would say right now, if anyone wanted to do something for us, and we've had a couple of people do this, and I think it is awesome, whether they could attend or not, they have made a donation for what we're calling scholarships. So when we get donations for scholarships, which are actually registrations, they're sponsoring registrations, then we're reaching out to people that we know. I mean, the registration fee is $50, and for some of us, that's not that much, but for some it is. And we understand that they may not have that extra right now, that we're able to reach out and say, do you know of anyone? Do you know of a young person? Do you know of a woman in your community that would come, but the registration fee is just not doable? So we're able to reach out and actually offer some no cost spots and invite people and say, just come, you're covered, don't worry about it. So I would say if anyone is interested in really helping, that would probably at this point be the greatest thing that we could continue to do.
Okay, that sounds great. Also, in regards to the day, I love the fact that you guys are going to be on the beach. You're going to pamper the teens and the women, and it's a very non-traditional event. I grew up in an independent Baptist Northern church that it was great. I loved growing up there, but I always remember going to the mother-daughter banquets, and we all wore, my mom and I always wore matching dresses, and there was hymns and a message and some, stick to your ribs type food and, good memories. But, you were surrounded by all these older women, and as a teenager, you were going through that identity crisis. So this is a non-traditional kind of space where women from all walks of life and teenagers from what's the age group? 13 to 18? Did I get that right?
12 to 17. Mm-hmm.
Okay. 17. Are able to come in and feel like they're in a safe zone, to feel like they can just kind of unwind engage, and be themselves. Am I capturing what you have described the best way possible? Okay.
Absolutely. And the women themselves, I mean, to kind of follow up on your point, Eden, is like, don't wear a dress and heels to this conference. That is not what we're doing. Flip-flops, we are on the beach, and we're going to give you a chance to go out and enjoy that and relax. So it is a laid back, t-shirt, just what you would wear on a day down here in this area. We don't want, you're gonna probably kick those heels off if you come in with them. So it is very, very laid back. We want everybody to be very comfortable.
Oh, well, I'm really hoping I will be in town and then I can attend. I know I would love to kick off these heels that I have days and in my travels going back and forth. Let me also ask you this. What are your goals with SWISH and God Confidence conferences? What do you see ahead in the next couple years, especially as we as Christians and in the public square are really wanting to rise above what is happening and counter the current culture? What do you see that Encounter 61, God Confidence, and SWISH could do to really help our area, our Eastern North Carolina area in the future?
I can tell you that one thing that we have talked about is, and I think maybe we shared this with you, Eden, is that when we started thinking about doing something with our women, I honestly think that in our mind, it was a more traditional kind of Bible study that we thought was going to happen. But the very first night that we got together, it was very clear to us that what we were doing was going to be different. Of course, we talk about the Bible. Of course, we bring how Christian values and things into all of our meetings. But we quickly realized that there is a community of women that just need a sisterhood.
Yes.
They need to be loved. They know that they need to know there's somebody there for them when I don't feel well, when I just need to cry, when I need to vent. And it really became as much therapy for all of us as it did a more traditional Bible study. So that's how we grew, because we didn't want it to be just for our church. Community is not within the four walls of anything. And we made that very clear from day one that what we're doing, SWISH, is not about Encounter 61. We're having it here at our church, but this is a community thing. And that's what we wanted to happen with this conference. And I also think from a church perspective, man, if you come in and you stay in your box, you are in a box and you've put God in a box. But that was some of the drive behind what Joe and I wanted to do is, this thing cannot be put in a box, especially this day and time. We have got to get out. The time is short, and we have got to harvest. And I think that's where we're headed as a church, where we're headed as a ladies group is. It's not just about Encounter 61. It doesn't matter if you come to this church and fill a seat on Sunday morning. Our arms are big and they're open, and we're going to love on you. And we just want to create a beautiful sense of a Christian community that love and respect and support each other.
I think from the first meeting, Eden, what really blessed my heart is the Lord was just really dealing with us on what she said, just outreach. But I always love the parable in the Bible when the friends lowered their friend to Jesus. And that's kind of what I can say about this group. We are the friends that will lower you to Jesus when you just need help and you're tired. We've seen that in this group. And I think that's what's beautiful. A lot of our women that are coming to this are not churched. They don't have a church. They don't go to church. This is like a church for them. And if we can reach somebody, he goes after the one. If this is the group for the one, then we'll always keep our doors open, because that's where his heart's at.
Today is obviously Friday, and we were talking earlier about Remember Everyone Deployed. And so I sit here and think this conference is so perfect for our military spouses at Camp Lejeune, at Cherry Point, also for our veteran caregivers. We have 9,000 veterans in this area. And I think your conference would just be ideal to bring them around and surround them. I think that's phenomenal, and I'm so excited for that. Also, tell us, we have about 4 minutes left. Tell us, again, where we can get women, teenagers signed up, and tell us one more time the website, and also, are there other events that you'll be having throughout the rest of the year that moms, dads, kids can come and hang out and just be at Encounter?
Yeah, okay. So for our conference, encounter61.com. That's our website. They go up there to register. That has all of the details of the conference. It actually has a QR code that they can scan with all the things to do in our community, like from restaurants to activities, because we're encouraging families to come. Let the moms, daughters, cousins, sisters do this thing. So we have activities for the dads, for the kids, so we can really reach the whole family. Also, as far as any upcoming events for SWISH, they can go online. We keep everything updated on our website of any upcoming events. They can check in regularly, especially with our SWISH ladies and for the church. And I'm going to switch over to her for any upcoming church events.
Well, we actually, Eden, we rotate what we do as far as life groups. We'll do life groups because we want people to come together as families into homes. So we do that for a certain, like a semester is what we call it. And then we'll rotate back to our women's group and men's group and children's group meeting individually at the church. So we try to kind of rotate that by semesters, but all of that information is on our website when all of that changes and what's coming up next. I know this coming semester, which will start in September for our church, we will be doing life groups. So there'll be more information about where they will be held. We'll have some on the island, some off of the island, trying to make it convenient for everybody, and different topics. So people can say, hey, this is something I'd really like to learn more about, and this is going to be held in the home of. And it's just simply making connection that way.
Oh, that sounds great. Sonia Strauss, Dana Braswell, SWISH. It is Sisters, Warriors, in Search of Him. Sister Warriors in Search of Him, SWISH. The conference is God Confidence. It will be here August 27th, Emerald Isle at Encounter 61. Ladies, thank you so much for what you are doing. I cannot wait to hopefully attend. And let's get Corbett back in the next couple of weeks. Love to have her, love to meet her. And thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Day.
Have a great weekend, ladies. Thank you.
Bye.
Man, TK.
I'm working on it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to select music and I accidentally fired the wrong one. Working on getting your next guest in here, so we're going to do a bit of a news and weather break. And I have to say, it's refreshing to hear women on the station again. So thank you for that. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after all the news, weather, and sponsorships that are coming your way. Don't go nowhere. The Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Be right back.
Hello, I'm Donna Gregory with WWAY News. The city of Wilmington is looking to donate the former Fire Station 6 on Carolina Beach Road to the Good Shepherd Center for permanent supportive housing. The 32-unit apartment-type complex would house the chronically homeless with disabilities while providing services like transportation and access to other resources. Those living there would be required to pay 30% of their rent. The city's planning commission will discuss rezoning the property at its August 3rd meeting. Vice President Kamala Harris spent part of yesterday in Charlotte announcing a broadband affordable connectivity program. Harris says that program provides working families with up to $30 a month off their internet bill or $75 a month for those living on tribal lands. It also gives families a one-time discount of up to $100 to purchase a laptop, desktop computer, or tablet. In Brunswick County, Navassa Town Council has approved nearly $250,000 for a municipal building. $8,000 for police department renovations, and $1,000 for a storage unit to house sensitive documents. Council members discussed a proposal for the Mose Heritage Center land donation, including a budget for engineering, design, permitting, and construction, which would total a little more than $241,000. And the Cucaloris Film Festival has raised almost $16,000 through a Kickstarter campaign, but needs $33,000 to meet its budget. Managing Director Rachel Taylor says Cucaloris has grown a lot over the years and is a vital part of Wilmington's art scene. If you'd like to donate to the festival, you'll find a link with this story on our website. And for more on all of these stories, visit WWAYTV3.com. I'm Donna Gregory. Have a great day.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. Get ready for another hot and humid day in the Cape Fear as high temperatures approach the lower 90s. Inland of the coast, heat index values once again could climb into the upper 90s. But as we head into the second half of the day, that's going to be the best chance to see scattered showers and thunderstorms firing up. So we will be a bit unsettled at times this evening. So do keep that in mind. But as we head into the overnight hours tonight, we're still remaining warm and muggy as our temperatures drop down to the middle and the upper 70s. Get your full forecast from WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you or a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Folks, the sad truth of it is most of what we're seeing in the news cycle is just noise, and it's recycled noise at that. Nothing informative, nothing that actually helps us discern the times that we live in. That's why we started doing Heard Tell. Every morning right here on Big Talker Network, 7 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m., we talk and discuss the issues of the day, culture and politics with knowledgeable guests, no yelling, no caterwauling, just grown folk talk about the issues that matter. Join me, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning for Heard Tell. Enjoying Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to the program whenever you want, however you want, by asking for Big Talker.
Then you can share that, and when they click the link, it'll... Whoop. See, when I get distracted by tech, I just go completely off the rails. Welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker Network, bigtalker.live. Please download the app for Android and iOS devices. And I am very excited at this point to bring in a couple of, well, I tell you what, I'm just going to shut the hell up and let y'all have at it. Miss Gordon Hill.
Hey, well, we are in the last half hour of our Friday morning show. It is 9:33 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have Andrew Donaldson, who I just had the pleasure to meet just a few seconds ago, and he is a Fox News contributor. And when he said Fox News contributor, I got pretty excited, having come from the Fox business desk. So, Andrew, welcome. I'm so glad to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you too. It's really funny because my show leads into your show, so it's weird that we hadn't met ahead of time, but this thing kind of came together quick. So we're going to spend a lot of time together, at least our listeners. Hopefully they flow over from mine to yours and back again. So thrilled to meet you in person through the magic of TK's 3 splices, and I think he wets his pinky finger and sticks it in a socket. I'm not sure how he keeps this whole thing running, but thrilled to be here with you and excited to have you on the Big Talker with us. We've been kind of in a transition period with this thing for the last few months, but we love it and it's good people, and you just seem like you're going to be a great fit.
Oh, thanks, Andrew. I'm loving being here. It's been day 2, and I still can't believe the conversation I had with TK on Wednesday. And it was an hour and a half of going over all the talking pitching and talking guests and talking production. And then all of a sudden he says, "You're the perfect morning host. Can you start tomorrow?"
Yeah, you want to start tomorrow at 8?
Now, to be fair, if it meant him not having to do the morning show anymore, he would have said that to a fire plug, but it actually is true in this case. because you do bring a good experience. You bring a different perspective than I do or TK does with your background and stuff. That's what we want. You want to have multiple angles looking at things because, especially with the news cycle the way it is, it comes so fast and there's so much going on. And you know this from being in comm shops professionally before. There's a lot of sameness out there.
Yes.
And one of the things we always been striving for with the Big Talker is, we want to, you can talk, it's funny. I did what they call the car wash, the Fox News Radio car wash, which is where you go, all the local affiliates can pick you up and you end up talking to them one after another. It's amazing. They can ask you the same question because they give you the topic. And those regional stations, local stations, you'll get 10 different versions of the questions and you'll get 10 different reactions to the same questions. Even people that would mostly agree, if you put them in a room, there's still a lot of variety. So getting you in here with your vast experience, you're obviously got a lot of common experience and things like that. And you've already started showing off your guest list a little bit, which is fun to get some fresh voices. This is exactly what we want to do. You need a wide perspective, and you can't get a wide perspective unless you get multiple people and multiple viewpoints. So I'm just chuffed to bits. I'm doing a UK interview here in a minute. They say chuffed to bits. So
we did this all in less than 18 hours.
Yes,
I believe. Yes. Well, that's almost as bad. I thought I had the record because I think, what was it, TK? Help me remember when we put our show together. A day. Yeah, when we put our show together, it was literally like I stole the radio station, but we don't have any content. And I'm like, well, because I was doing a podcast at the time. I was like, well, I can recut my podcast to be a daily radio show. And the next day we were doing I went from a once a week podcast to a daily radio show in about 14 hours.
Yep.
I think, which is insane looking back on it now. We've been doing it almost a year, buddy.
Yep.
If you go back to the podcasting day, but TK and I've been doing radio going back to the old Big Talker. I was a fill-in host with them. So we've been doing it for a while. He's good people. And I'm excited to see what you do with it. I think it's going to be good stuff.
Oh man, I was very excited when that phone, I can't, because the initial request was Eden wanted a spot on the radio, like to do an interview or to interview some of her people or something. I didn't quite understand it.
Well, we got that.
Yeah, and then I was like, you could have the whole 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, I mean, I shared with TK, I do run my own public relations business, and it's run here at Cedar Point, and I have some phenomenal high-level clients, and I also have some phenomenal local clients. And also having run for North Carolina State House really threw me into, the fray, if you will, of the local politics and what's happening here at the local and also at the state level. And, the low-hanging fruit of amazing guests that we can bring to the table, I'm so excited about. But then also the vast amount of amazing Americans I've been able to represent over the years in my working in the comm shops, working for Rick Santorum and working for Senator Fred Thompson, the late Senator Fred Thompson, and then also working with.
What a guy!
And, he was phenomenal. It was like another dad to me. He was just an amazing servant, amazing public servant.
I did vote for him for president in a primary. I'll just throw that out there. I usually don't admit who I voted for. I actually voted for him when he ran for the primary. He was great.
A phenomenal man. But then also amazing book authors who love our military children. Last year, I represented Jeff Gottsfeld. I'm really hoping we can get him on next week. He published a book called 21 Steps, and it's about the tomb of the unknown soldier. And as we were doing earlier in the 8:00 hour, remembering everybody deployed Friday. So I'm going to get on here every Friday with my red, white, and blue, and we're going to hit the pavement, and we're going to remember everybody deployed. And in that, I want to focus on some of the books that he has done. And the 21 Steps was a Wall Street Journal bestseller last year for the children's book segment. And he was a part of Veterans Day events in Washington last year at the Tomb. Elizabeth Dole Foundation featured him for the Hidden Heroes program, the USO, everybody in between, a phenomenal book author. And that's what I want to bring to the table for this show. I love great authors. I love books. I have stacks and stacks of them. And I want to make sure we get to feature some top-notch authors who are also really representing what our nation stands for and its true values and its history and the freedom and the justice and the liberty. I mean, that's what I'm all about. As you can tell, if you see my red, white, blue headband. I told them, Dylan and Steven, who were on earlier this morning, I have my rhinestone red, white, and blue high heels. I have my husband's Army memorabilia right behind me. I am all American. I am Rosie the Riveter. That is me in a nutshell.
Yeah, I did not wear my rhinestone heels this morning. One of the great things of working from home is usually somebody asked me one time, they're like, "Oh, you how do you dress for TV?" Like if I do a TV hit, I'll usually throw on at least a jacket or an open collar shirt. And I'm like, honestly, most of the time I'm sitting here in a dress shirt and my WVU basketball shorts because that's the joys of working from home. So no rhinestone heels, but no, I did 12 years before I got medically put out active duty. So I appreciate you doing things like that. We've covered on our show a lot of things. In fact, we're putting together a special on the VA. Right now, here in a couple of weeks, we're going to have that out. Some real special folks we're going to be doing on our program. It never ends. We just covered on our show a couple of days ago about how the recruiting numbers are so far down, and we talked about it's not a patriot problem. It's a trusting government problem.
Yes.
You can't have kids that went through a school system that told them they don't matter for 2 years, and then they see the dysfunction in our government. And they see the dysfunction in our streets, that is also the government. And they see the dysfunction in education, which is government, and policing, which is government, and financial problems, which is government. And then you say, hey, sign up with a blank check up to and including your life to do whatever the government tells you to do. Those two things aren't going to go together. So I always appreciate you bringing up veterans issues. It's a big deal for me personally. I am a VA healthcare patient. Ongoing, will be for the rest of my life. These are important issues, and I appreciate you raising them.
Yeah, well, I'm a veteran caregiver. My husband doesn't like that term.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's the term that they give us through the VA.
Important term and a legal term that has legal binding meaning too. Folks need to know.
Yes, it really does. And he is a wounded warrior, and he needs to be proud of it. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what he has done, what you have done, what Dylan, who served in the Navy, who was on during the 8 o'clock hour. And we need to really focus in on those issues. When I was running for State House, and for the audience that's already heard this story 10,000 times over, it was a heavy piece to my speech to all the different audiences when I was on the campaign trail. My husband was denied care from the Moorhead VA clinic during Christmas. And I said to this yesterday to TK, why? Why is this happening? And I asked the nurse, I said, why? I didn't pull in the Trump card that I served in the Trump administration, but I did say, we got a problem here. Why are you sending us to an urgent care when you strictly say on your website, you are an urgent care for our VA, for our men and women who have served? Why are you denying him care? And that I reached out to the local officials. I reached out to our members of Congress. And, I continue to see the buck being passed. And, let's sweep it under the carpet a little bit more. And during my time in the Trump administration, I was at OPM. I sat there and I saw us wanting to make sure our veteran spouses, our veterans had employment, and our military spouses had employment, not underemployment. And Trump kept the light on and gave first-class service to you, Andrew, to my husband, and to all of those who've served. And I feel like it has just gone down the tube ever since. And I don't want to stop pressing that pulse, because when I look at the local level of them moving the VA center and not notifying us and 9,000 VA veterans in Carteret County, they moved the VA center. I had to drive by it to see a for sale sign on Highway 70. And then a sign further back in the parking lot saying we had moved. Durham never told us. And I raised the flag at a couple of the different meetings I was attending. Did anybody know? No. Local officials, did they know they had moved? No. Our member of Congress knew that the blue ribbon ceremony had been cut, but nobody was talking about it. I kid you not, that was back in March. The news article in the Carteret County Times just published it about a month ago. So I have huge concerns, and I do want to talk about those veterans issues. I want to make sure the caregiver is getting the support that they need. And I want to make sure that this whole pandemic, let's just do phone calls and not see the veteran, is not going to hurt our veterans in the long run. Because My husband has not seen his doctor. It's all via phone. Has that been the same for you, Andrew?
Somewhat. The big one, first off, that really got everybody was they had to take the entire mental health aspect and try to put it online. And it was a mess for it took at least a year before they really got it to where it's not too bad now, and now they're back to in-person some, but the mental health care stuff just like stone dead stopped. That was catastrophic to veterans, and because they didn't have the infrastructure to take it online when they did it. And I'll give you one just personally from mine. As you know this because you worked at OPM, which people just don't understand what a huge arm of the government OPM is if you're not familiar with government service. It's a beast.
Yes.
It's a necessary beast, but it's a beast.
Yep.
Bureaucracy kills everything it touches. The bureaucracy of the VA, in my own experience, when I went and they finally got me in with a specialty surgeon in 2015, and they sent me, the Durham VA real well. I'm also a patient there as well as at Fayetteville. They sent me to Durham. Of course, you go to Durham because you get all the Duke doctors. That's why you go to Durham. And they got me with a Duke GI surgeon, and he told me the surgery I needed. He's like, I know exactly what you need here. You need this, this, this. I'm putting the paperwork in today. It was 10 months before he cut me open. 10 months. And that's with everybody agreeing that it was fine. It was just the paper. And this is back when choice was, let's not go down the road of what VA choice, what that turned into. This got caught up in that. I was 10 months from a surgeon saying, you need this surgery and you need it now. And it took 10 months to get it. You have people that it takes them years and years and years to get their benefits. It takes them years and years and years to get their ratings to get to their benefits. Everything is taking too long. Everything is too much bureaucracy. There's a lot of simple things that could fix the VA in a hurry, but people don't understand this. And I don't want to go stat heavy, but this stat just every time I bring it up, people's jaws drop. They don't understand this. The largest integrated healthcare system in America is the Veterans Affairs healthcare system, the largest healthcare system in America. And it's only taking care of 9 million people because only about half of our 15 million veterans are in the VA system. The second biggest branch of government is the VA, and it's bigger than the next two put together. It takes that much bureaucracy to take care of 9 million people. If that isn't an example of the inefficiency of government, and then you look at the issues still, it has gotten better in some respects. I don't want to bash the VA totally because there's good people there trying hard, but the structure of it is such a monster. You have the second biggest department of the government to take care of 9 million people out of 330. I'm not great at math, but that's a crap ratio for efficiency, and efficiency is vital when it comes to military care, health care, and especially mental health care for these veterans. COVID really pulled the Band-Aid off a lot of the problems of the VA. They're still dealing with it now. This is a generational problem, and I keep using that term. I was like, look, this isn't, and I know we've had some good people. I know President Trump focused on this. Hopefully our next president will focus on it. I'm telling you, this is a generational thing that we have to start thinking of in the long term, because this is not a quick fix, one election problem. This is a systemic problem.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When you were just talking about how it took you 10 months to finally then be cut open, I got that right, didn't I?
Yep.
It sounds as though socialized medicine.
Anytime I do an interview or on my show or in writing, people's like, well, let's talk about, either because there's different, single payer healthcare or socialized medicine or single payer or universal healthcare is kind of the big buzzword. I stop and I go, you need to know two things about me before we talk about healthcare. One is I've lived in Europe. I've been a patient in a German hospital where they have universal cradle-to-grave healthcare. I've been a patient in the hospital. I've been picked up by a German ambulance at my home in Germany and taken because I was over there active duty. So I know the European system, good, bad, and indifferent. You can't utopia me. I know that it's good healthcare. I also know the taxes they pay. And I'm a VA patient. I have single-payer, top-down government healthcare. I know the good and the bad of it. And I always preface that because too many people don't understand, yes, there's a difference between universal and single payer and there's different things. I was like, you got to understand what these things mean. The further you get from the individual, the less liberty and choice and freedom you have and the worse care you get. That European healthcare is great. They don't understand those people are paying 60-65% taxes once you tack on the VAT taxes and everything else on top of it to pay for that. They don't understand the lifestyle change that is to you to get that. Now, if you want to trade that off, knock yourself out, but you need to be honest with people that that's what's involved. And the VA system should be the example of and I'm going to say this and people get mad, but this is true. I don't care what problem you're talking in America. I don't care if you're talking regulatory reform, financial reform, criminal justice reform, educational reform, all these things we all agree need worked on. If you do not have government accountability, it does not matter. If we do not have a government accountability, you can reform it till the cows come home. Nothing's going to change because it's the same problems going to bubble up and metastasize again. And healthcare in the VA is the perfect example of, no, you can't just put the government in charge of health. If we had a perfectly accountable government, maybe it would work. This government we got right now, no chance.
Right. Exactly. Well, Andrew, can we next Friday potentially do another VA veteran topic conversation? I'm enthralled by your knowledge. I'm grateful for your service. I love that you're going to be doing a VA special on your show. I want to support you any way I can. But going forward with everything that's been going on in the news headlines, and I know we have about 10 minutes left until the show concludes for today. Tell me about what your conversations were with as you are a Fox News contributor. What were some of the things that you were working on this week?
So it was interesting. We did the Fox News Radio tour yesterday through Young Voices, a great organization. By the way, now that we've got a couple of shows, we're going to open up. Those contributors are going to start showing up all over the Big Talker. We've had them on before. Great organization of great minds from the right, conservative viewpoints, liberty-loving people, great folks. You're going to be seeing them more and more, and we'll make sure to get them some for your show as well. But what they wanted to talk about was the January 6th committee, because they had their last hearing last night. And it's amazing to me, and of all that vast right-wing conspiracy known as NPR, National Public Radio, because people is always like, you nitpick your stuff. Now, this is NPR now, okay? So that's pretty unbiased when you're going to talk about this. They had a huge piece out on the 20th and the 21st. And they had, not the ratings, the polling numbers on this thing. The numbers aren't moving. Not even having it in prime time, and the splits are right where they've always been. Democrats, the overall population, it's about 60-40 people that are paying attention in some capacity to this. 60-40. Then when you get to independents, which is kind of the important number, because that's who they're really shooting for. Because let's be big boys and big girls here. This is a political thing. They're shooting for those independents. Those numbers haven't moved at all. They're about 55-45. Republicans, it's inverse. It's 45-55. But when you get all the way down in the numbers, the really amazing thing here is, listen to this stat. This is from NPR. This isn't from me. The top priorities of the Democratic voters, as this poll says, is January 6th committee's number 1, and inflation is 5th. When you go to Republicans and independents both, it's completely the inverse. Inflation is number 1, and January 6th committee is 5th. That's the disconnect here. They are investigating this. They're talking about this. Folks are hurting. They need economic relief now. They're trying to put gas in their cars and drive around. They're still. I've been talking about this on my show. We still haven't reckoned with what the school system did to this generation of children. And I have 2 kids that I was the stay-at-home parent with them for 15 months, because here in Cumberland County, Fayetteville, North Carolina, where my 2 youngest kids go to public school, they shut it down for over 15 months straight. There was no back and forth. It was just done. Shut it down. That generation's starting to get up there now. We haven't reckoned with that. We have a lot of issues in this country that go to quality of life, and the voters, especially Republican voters and independent voters, that's what they want to talk about. They're not that interested in this. And the thing about this is this is all coloring inside the lines. We already know the lines. It's not moving numbers. And it was amazing talk.
Oh, no.
Is he there?
Yeah, he froze for a second.
Like Laredo, Texas. No, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're back.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my buddy down in Texas, right along the border, talking real slow. He's like, this is all quality of life, and we want to talk about the border. He's like, even the Democrats here, and he was talking about how the Hispanic numbers in the Rio Grande Valley are just swinging rapidly to the right in this country. He's like, these are business owners. He's like, the Hispanic folks, we are the police here. We don't want to hear about defund the police. We are the police. We are the small business owners. Who do they think they're talking to? It's amazing to talk to different people in different parts of the country and how these things land. But the thing that you keep hearing over and over again is people want to hear about the kitchen table issues, quality of life. They want to know about that stuff. And if you ain't talking about that, you're going to get punished at the ballot box in November for it.
Yes. Yeah. November is right around the corner. And, if they do not start waking up to the quality of life, like you just said, the whole kitchen table conversations are more powerful than a presidential speech, are more powerful than those January 6th, what I call SNL skits, frankly. And what happens around the dinner table, what happens within our families is more powerful because we have that force. We have that resilience, especially us military and veteran families. We have that force and that resilience to go out and create and engage and take care of our communities where the federal government and the bureaucracy will never do. And so I am all there with you, especially as we head into 2022 elections. November is going to be a huge shakeup. And as things, we hope, turn more red, I'm just hoping as things turn more red, are they actually going to do what they're saying? Are they going to stand up and really fight in those marble halls of Congress? Are they going to really fight in Raleigh? I mean, I know we have a Republican legislature up in Raleigh, but I sit there and say, what are you guys really doing? Every time I look at your committees on Homeland Security, on Veterans and Military Affairs, it looks like things are just dead in committee. So what are you really doing? I really feel like we really need to challenge them on these kitchen table discussions. At the end of the day, that's what we really need to do.
Yeah, here's that word again, accountability. One of the hosts, I forget which one, yesterday, one of the hosts brought this up, and he's like, well, what happens if we're assuming the Republicans take at least the House, if not maybe the Senate, but they're definitely going to get the House. He brought it up, and he's like, what? I was like, they better not just talk about kitchen table issues and then go off on some tangent when they get into power. The paradigm has shifted. People are paying attention. If they get into power in Congress, and I understand it'll be split power, you better show the American people you're going to follow through on the things you campaign through and deal with this stuff, because they'll turn around and punish you right back if you do not, and you'll deserve it.
Yes, exactly. That is exactly it. Andrew Donaldson. Hey, TK, how much time do we have left? I know we're at 9:56.
Yeah, we got about 2 minutes.
Okay. Andrew, what do you think we should be looking for as we head into the weekend? News cycle will probably go a little quiet. What are you thinking we need to keep our eyes out for the coming week?
I'll tell you the overseas story that we're hammering because people aren't paying attention to it has been Sri Lanka. That country has absolutely, utterly collapsed in fuel shortages and food shortages, because you've also seen it in Cuba now. Cuba's having riots in the streets over food prices and health care coverage because of the economic pressures, because of the fuel prices, inflation. It's spreading to Africa worldwide. This inflation, this global economy is starting to crush people, and people need to pay attention to it. It's going to cause a lot of unrest worldwide, and it's not getting covered here. And if we don't get a hold of our inflationary stuff here, we're going to have the same problems here as well. That's a story folks aren't talking about because they're talking about the trending stuff. A lot of people hurting worldwide, not just here. And they need to pay attention to it because it's going to flow over to our shores, because it always does.
Yeah, you're right. Where can we find you, Andrew? What is the best way for people to follow your show? And also, where is the best way for them to follow you on your website?
Well, I'm on right before you, so I should be easy to find for folks because I'm on 7 to 8, and then you're on 8 to 12. We're going to be tag team partners on this thing. 4 for the Fire on the Twitter, at Heard Tell Show. Also at Twitter. We're on all the podcasting platforms. Just type in Heard Tell. It'll come right up. Or my name, Andrew Donaldson. YouTube, obviously the Big Talker app is so good. If nobody's looked at it, that's as good an app as anybody's got. You can watch live video on that, or you can do audio only. You can, of course, follow the show there. Ordinary-times.com. I'm the managing editor there. Really, really talented folks.
Yeah, I was sitting here looking at ordinarytimes.com. Absolutely love this website, and I'm going to keep it up in my browser. But going back to the Big Talker,
follow them as well, and I'm excited to see.
Yeah, that was a Google Meet catch up there. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
Worries. Where did you lose me at? Because I was doing a great spiel, and I want to make sure you don't miss any of it.
The last 10 minutes.
Yeah. No, we were talking about ordinary times, and then you just went off, and I said I'm going to keep it on my breath.
Ordinary-times.com. Check it out. We got a great I got a buddy that does a parody story where Mike Pence and they have fictional adventures. That's all kinds of fun. Make sure you check that out today. Just some good humor. But young voices, we're going to start getting them on the network more and more. It's the next generation of youth that is coming up on the right, liberty-loving folks. I'm very proud to not only be there, I'm also a mentor with them. We're going to have them on. You see them all over the place. We got them in the UK. We got a UK branch that's all over the UK. We've got them on Fox News. I've represented them on things like Fox 5 and Fox News and things like this. I'm excited about the future with you. We're going to make this a good partnership. And TK, stay on after the line. We'll talk for a minute. I'll get you all my information. And great show. Good job. Good first 2 days.
It's been a lot of fun. I got to say that.
Thanks, you guys. We look forward to being with you next week. Don't forget to download our app, Big Talker. Come join us next week. We have a lot of great guests ahead. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You're tuned in to the Big Talker Network, Wilmington, North Carolina's premier